Today, I am double dipping with Bettina Campolucci Bordi. We became firm friends after she came on the podcast in 2020. Shows you the beauty of podcasting. And she's invited me to Osteria Angelina, somewhere that I've been desperate to try ever since it opened. Let's find out what she's been up to and have a little double dip. Bettina.
Yes.
This feels a bit weird because we're friends first and foremost. So doing anything like in a professional environment makes me feel like I'm putting on a bit of a face for you. So we're going to keep this super chill.
Yes.
But I feel like you're a perfect example of what can come out of a podcast because we met on my podcast and from that has come a friendship.
Yes, absolutely.
And I feel like I love all of my guests, but you and I have particularly kind of grown the relationship.
I agree.
So thank you for meeting with me and double dipping with me.
Yes.
We're at Osteria Angelina. You suggested this.
Yes.
Why?
I really love the vibe here. The food is amazing.
Which we're going to get in a bit.
It's Japanese Italian fusion, which is quite unusual. It's just really, really good food, really good produce, amazing service, good vibes. All the things that sort of tick my box when it comes to eating out.
Me too. And very few places kind of tick all those boxes.
Exactly.
This is obviously called double dipping. What are your thoughts on double dipping?
Ooh. Well, what are my thoughts on it? Depends on the situation.
Okay.
I think.
What kind of situation are we talking about?
I mean, in a professional situation, probably not a good idea to double dip if you've got lots of eyes on you. And then if you're sort of in a family communal situation, I don't think double dipping is a big deal.
But I also feel like, because you have literally lived all over the world and you're kind of this like wonderful mix of different cultures, I can imagine that idea of sort of sharing and tearing and dipping and this and that, that's kind of what you're about as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I like eating with my hands.
Yeah.
I like tasting things. I like sharing. I'm not against this, but I would much rather order lots of stuff that goes in the middle than have my own dish. And I know that it's sort of, some people just don't like sharing, which is totally fine. But food for me is community. It's sitting around a table, telling stories. Sometimes you don't speak the same language, but facial expressions and body language says it all when you have like an amazing bite of food.
Absolutely. I'm exactly the same, but there's also certain dishes that I don't like sharing, or like there's certain foods I don't like sharing. Like I don't like sharing a pizza.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because I love pizza
Really?
so much I become quite selfish.
Oh, interesting.
Like I'm just like, no, I want this all for myself.
Interesting. See, I don't like pizza. It's one of my foods that I'm not particularly fond
So you know that
of.
friendship we were talking about? I don't know.
I'm very particular with pizza. It has to be super thin crust, not very much on it, and like crispy.
So basically not really a pizza.
No, and I think it's called a Roman type.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there's only a few places that do it. And then you've got the Neapolitan style, which is soft and bubbly.
But it's got
all right.
quite a big crust in Neapolitan
Exactly.
style.
Yeah, not my thing.
Interesting. Okay, well I can have your crusts and you can get
Exactly. There we go.
you are like the perfect multi-hyphenated woman. You are a chef, a recipe developer, a cookbook author, a culinary wellness expert, a retreat host. I mean, you literally do it all. Does that keep your life really exciting?
Yes, I love doing lots of different things. I call them tentacles. Got lots of different tentacles. There's different sort of periods of my life that have made me go into different genres, but I started out in wellness over a decade ago in Spain, actually, where I started running wellness retreats. And that was sort of my entry level into plant-based cooking and gluten-free cooking, because that's what we offered on our retreats. And then we couldn't find a chef at the time who could cook according to what we needed. And as a lifelong passionate foodie, I was like, oh, I'll do it and run the retreats with my business partner at the time. And that's kind of how I call it banana slid into the food industry. And through that and over the years, it's just developed into different branches. And And also because of COVID, you sort of have to reinvent yourself, reinvent your income streams.
Yeah.
So that's kind of...
So where would you say your heart lies most?
So this is really interesting because the last time we spoke, it was more recipe development, food. I think at the time I had my second cookbook out, and then my third one coming. And then wellness was sort of my side hustle, you could say. So the retreats, and I don't think I'd started the retreat chef academies yet.
No.
And now it's sort of turned where food and recipe development I'm really passionate about, but my retreat chef academies and my wellness retreats and my wellness consulting is now at the forefront of what I'm really passionate about, and where more of my energy goes into, although my brand and recipe tentacles are still there.
What I'm just visualizing is just like this octopus with these like tentacles like floating around. Well, let's talk about that then, because obviously wellness is like such a big word that's kind of thrown around a lot, but you have kind of carved this platform for yourself as this sort of expert in the field. Let's talk about actually firstly the retreat academies.
Yes.
Because that's really interesting. It's very niche.
It's very niche.
But it's going really well from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I've got a waiting list, which is insane, for 2026.
So tell me, why would someone want to attend one of these academies?
So I think this was 5 years ago. I realized that there was something missing because I kept getting contacted by retreat leaders going, my chef hasn't cooked enough food, my chef is over budget, all of these sort of complaints. And I was like, surely they should know what they're doing. And then I released a retreat chef academy, and then it got fully booked, and I was like, oh my gosh, now I need to do the contents for it. Ran my first one, and it's just sort of grown from there. It's basically, when you do retreat chefing on wellness retreats, it's a completely different ball game. You're in a different country, you're in a venue that you've never been to, you're working with people that you've never worked with before, you're going to have to source your ingredients from somewhere in a country with a budget, with a very, very tight budget, because usually the chefs and the food budgets on wellness retreats are the lowest.
Really?
Even though you're feeding people 3 times a day, the budgets allocated to food are so low. So
I feel like that would be like the priority.
It's insane. So the venues and usually the yoga teachers or the people running the retreats will get most of the budget, and then food is kind of bottom line.
Wow.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of other things to consider. Food has to come out at the same time. You have to do nutrient dense food. Sometimes you're doing Ayurvedic retreats, macrobiotics. There's lots of different things to think about.
And also I can imagine that a lot of times you're a one-man band. So
you're a one-man band.
So you're getting the food out, but you're also cooking it and probably serving it to the table.
Yes, there's so many aspects to think about. So it's basically my accumulated experience over a decade that gets condensed into a very intense 7-day course.
Wow.
And a lot of my students are women. So I'd say 95% of my students are women, either at the beginning of their foodie careers or they've had a career in something else and are ready to change and pivot into wellness.
Interesting.
And a lot of I've got so many success stories, and it's so amazing. Like every week I get messages. We've got an alumni. So also it's the community aspect of it. As a retreat chef or working in wellness, it's quite lonely. A little bit like being a creator.
What, the rosemary and nori sourdough focaccia?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, focaccia and nori.
Bread. That looks amazing.
I love being interrupted when it's food.
Yes. Food can interrupt me.
The only time
whenever.
I allow someone to interrupt me is if they're bringing me food. Okay, look. Oh, wow.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's really pretty.
Frozen tomato salads. We've got regular tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes. Then tomatoes that we've poach them in mirin, then we freeze them, and then let them like defrost a little bit, so they're just like the right amount of refreshing. And some herb sorbet as well on top.
Sorbet.
Aged soy and
so
basil
good
oil.
as well.
Yes, and there's the milk bread, like Hokkaido milk bun style, with jam that it's made with crab apple, plum, and pears, and some honey butter on top as well.
Wow. Thank you so much.
I think one of the most amazing things about the Retreat Chef Academy is the community and alumni aspect. So we have a WhatsApp group, we have a community. So whenever there's job offers or anything that comes through, if somebody is, say, in Costa Rica and they've got issues with ingredients, then they put something into the group and then somebody might be able to help, and then they do things together, they assist each other. It's amazing.
God, you really are creating like this beautiful, community, but even though it's quite niche, it sounds like it could evolve into something bigger.
Yeah, it's just wellness is here to stay.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that in a minute in terms of like, I call it 50 shades of wellness, and wellness has gone nuts, a little bit like veganism went completely nuts.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what does wellness mean today?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It depends on like what genre you're looking at.
Yeah.
I think there's so much noise out there when it comes to wellness that it can be very confusing, overwhelming. I feel like social media doesn't make it easier because people feel like they should be doing so much. Whereas my philosophy on wellness is doing less, slowing down, focusing on community and friendships and food, but in a different way. I feel like there's so much pressure to do all of these things that it becomes completely overwhelming. And actually, sometimes all we need to do is to not have that noise and to be able to think and feel.
Yeah, it's interesting. I completely agree. I mean, I'm obviously not in wellness, but it's something that I'm interested in terms of like being the client, so to speak. And I actually feel like I get pressurized that I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that.
Oh,
That should be the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I should be feeling a bit more calm about it all. Because, I mean, but that's with sort of every industry, isn't it? As it evolves, there's more and more things. There's more and more people who are going to have a platform where they're going to say certain things.
Yeah.
And, no, you've been doing this wrong. You should have been doing it this way. And it's like, oh, my God, but I was told to do that and take that. And it is difficult to cut through the noise.
Yeah.
So I guess, actually, I think your advice is absolutely right. Is to just like slow down a minute.
Yeah.
And take some time to figure out.
Yeah, and try things. Listen, I am not adverse to biohacking, which is like a massive thing right now. I'm not adverse to trying different supplements and trying different products. That it's amazing that you've got all of that available.
Yeah.
However, I feel it can be overwhelming. And then, as with every industry that goes nuts, there's a lot of people saying different things, and a lot of them don't have the background or the education to be able to suggest what they're suggesting.
You're telling me.
But that's always going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's pause for a second. The food is on the table. We have some beautiful dishes in front of us. So we've got the nori focaccia. We've got the milk bread with jam and burnt honey butter. And then we've got this beautiful magic tomato salad. Gosh, we all need a magic tomato salad in our lives.
It's amazing.
Okay, go for it. Dig in.
Right. What are we doing?
I'm going to take a piece of... Oh, no, that is a whole piece.
That is a whole... I think that needs tearing.
Okay, I'm just going to... Do you mind? I'm... Goodness. Beautiful.
May I give you this piece?
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Wow. My gosh.
There hasn't been any double dipping on my part in terms
Darling,
of my...
I would double dip with you any day.
in terms of my fork.
Mmm. Oh my
Good?
God. Mmm. The focaccia is delicious. I love the concept of Japanese and Italian together.
Yeah.
They're actually two of my favourite
Mine
cuisines
too,
in the world.
yeah.
And something about the two that I think is really similar is that they're very produce led and actually quite simple. Like you can't hide behind anything. Just great tomatoes on a plate.
Yeah.
Great bread. Don't overcomplicate it.
No, don't overcomplicate it. That is, and if you've got great produce and great ingredients,
Then you're on to a winner. Actually, let's take it back a little bit. Let's talk a bit about your background, because I did sort of allude to it a minute ago. But you've lived literally in so many different places around the world. You have this wonderful sort of cultural mix as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
I was born in Copenhagen, so I've got a Danish passport. But I was born in Copenhagen because my mother flew to Copenhagen to give birth to me because of complications. So
Wow.
she's Danish, Bulgarian. But at the time we were living in East Africa, in Tanzania. So I grew up in Morogoro, which is outside of Dar es Salaam, which is the capital, which was basically in the middle of nowhere for my first couple of years, and then Dar es Salaam until I was 11-ish. So from the age of 11 until my 20s, we moved to Sweden, which is, it's like, I usually wear a palm tree. It's like taking a palm tree and sticking it in the Antarctic. It was such a big culture shock and such a big difference. And in terms of how we...
Pasta, using kosher,
Amazing. Thank you.
You have spoilt us. Thank you so much. That is beautiful.
So in terms of how we sourced, cooked and ate, there were no supermarkets, so we would go to the food market, as in we would go to the fruit and veg market to get our fruit and veg. My dad actually used to hunt a couple of times a year to get protein.
Yeah.
We used to go to a farmer to get our milk, so my mum used to do yogurts, the milk, the butter, all from scratch.
Incredible life.
We used to, yes, but those things were really ingrained in me.
Yeah.
And I had two grandmothers who were amazing cooks, always sourced things from food markets. Everything was around food and what you would eat and all the holidays and things like that. Interestingly enough, when we moved to Sweden, it was the first time I came across pre-made foods. And I remember going to the supermarket at 11 years old and I'm like, wow, pizzas frozen, you can put them in the oven. And after 10 minutes, it's done. This is like mind-blowing. So we went through this period of just trying different, what you would call now like overly processed foods, but it's so interesting. I remember it vividly, just going through this process, and then obviously sort of go back to basics again and go to what you grew up with. But from a foodie point of view, and my dad was Norwegian, so add that into the mix. My grandma was Norwegian, my other grandma was Bulgarian, my mum Danish, Bulgarian, so very, very big mix.
How many languages do you speak?
I used to speak more when I was little, but I still speak Bulgarian to my mother. I used to speak Norwegian to my father, who's no longer here. I speak Swedish to my daughter because we've both got Danish passports.
Yeah.
She's a third generation Dane, so she needs to speak at least one Scandi language to keep it. English, I guess.
A bit of English.
A bit of English. I guess that's it.
What was the food like in Tanzania?
Just very simple ingredients, but obviously you've got all the tropical fruits, you've got all the veggies, you've got fresh fish, like sort of catch of the day. So we used to go to the fish market and get that type of stuff. Very, very simple ingredients led, I would say.
It's really interesting. It feels like you sort of had this upbringing in this life that everybody is talking about now, about eating seasonally, being more sustainable, going and not necessarily going to a supermarket and buying everything there and trying to source locally or support, local farmers or, independent shops. So which kind of, I guess, brings me on to a conversation that I know has been a hot topic for a while, but something that I'm really big into is food waste.
Yes.
And you and I actually do talk about this a lot because we always see each other once a year at Taste of London and we always talk about this. But, it's all well and good talking the talk, but you've kind of got to walk the walk as well. And,
100%.
In my household, nothing gets chucked away unless it literally has got so much mold on it that it's falling out of the fridge. There is no reason that it needs to be chucked in the bin. But what are your thoughts on food waste on like a deeper level? Because as kind of like what you're saying with wellness, there's so much noise around it.
Yeah.
But like, where are we at with it really and truly?
I just think that there's so many things that we can be more aware of.
Yeah.
There is an insane amount of food waste because of laws and legislations in terms of how supermarkets get rid of food, how big corporations deal with food waste. So there are a lot of things that are in the way. I think I always think if everyone tries to do something, then and also household food waste is one of the biggest culprits.
Yeah.
So just tasting things rather than looking at dates. I think it's smelling things.
Yeah.
I think just being a bit more mindful with leftovers. There's lots of households that don't eat leftovers, which
Most of my meals are made with
which
leftovers.
I don't understand. There's also great apps like Olio.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Olio, where you can literally say that you've got 10 lemons left over from a shoot. They're perfectly fine, but you're going on holiday the next day. You can take a picture of those lemons, you can put it on the app, and then somebody will literally come and pick them up. So all my food shoots, anything that I've got left over that I can sort of give away, I will give away. And then people start following you. And it can be anything from families to students
That's a brilliant
to
idea.
shelters, whatever it is. I think just being more aware.
Yeah.
Going to a supermarket with a food list, I think there's a lot of, you open up your cupboard and you've got like 5 different brands of peanut butter. Supermarkets are designed so that you purchase more things, just being more mindful of that. I mean, there's so many things that you can do.
Absolutely.
Using root to shoot, using the whole vegetable, that type of stuff as well. There's many things that we can do. But
There's no excuse, basically,
no, there's no
at this
excuse.
point.
But just, I think, look at how much you waste from a household point of view and then figure out what you can do better.
Absolutely. There are a couple other dishes on the table. We've got some pastas. We have a tomato pasta with koshu and a tortellini truffle and kombu. Oh,
That's so good. I've had that
gosh.
before.
Look at these. Divine. Before we sort of finish up, talk to me about the retreat. We sort of talked about the academy, but you've got a retreat coming up in November.
I do.
What can one expect from a retreat if one was to sign up?
So I run my retreats in Bali, which, again, from a wellness perspective, I think has got sort of a double-edged sword to it because it's become quite a popular destination. However, my retreat is on the west coast, which is really quiet, and what Bali used to be like maybe sort of 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's in a sleepy little surfer town.
Nice.
I guess the difference between my retreats is I'm the only imported product into Bali, and everyone else is actually from Bali. From my healers, my yoga teacher is Balinese.
Wow.
The healers, the teams that I work with. I feel that with places like that already have so much talent in-house, a lot of people bring talent from the outside, and then very little of the economy actually goes back into place. So I do things a little bit differently. So my whole team is from Bali, which is amazing.
How many people come on the retreat?
Maximum 14.
Nice.
It's a small retreat. I feel like as soon as you sort of go above that number, it becomes a little bit clicky, and then you don't have enough time with everyone. There's yoga. There is incredible seasonal led meals that are cooked by myself, and I bring an intern. And there's an amazing local team as well that helps out. And it's all about sort of resetting your gut.
I really want to come one day. Honestly, it sounds
Getting
fabulous.
your microbiome completely reset. And then lots of local healing. I work with incredible healers that are from Bali, that come from generations of healers. We go to water temples. And also it's about slowing down. There is no schedule that gets handed as soon as you arrive. There is a schedule, but there's a flow to it so that you can feel relaxed and also have your own time and figure out what you want to do
Okay.
in your life,
Sold.
basically.
I might do one next year, maybe.
You should.
I'd love
You
to.
would love it. And the
I
food,
think I would.
The food in Bali is incredible.
I'm going to finish off the chat with asking the same question I ask every guest. We have dined together again.
Yes.
If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
I thought about this. And I was like, oh, who should it be? And then I thought, actually, from my heart and my gut, I was like, I would love to have dinner with both of my grandmothers together, actually,
Aw.
which would be amazing. So I feel like it would be really nice to have a meal with both of them in the now, considering that I'm in food.
Yeah.
And they were both really big foodies. Yeah, that was the answer from the heart, and then my mind was like, is that good enough?
No, that is the answer.
be
No,
someone else?
that is the answer.
But that's it. Yeah,
I will grant you that dinner.
amazing.
Bettina, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure being in your company.
Well, likewise. It's
And,
always so nice to see you,
Always.
and this is such a perfect setting.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Just like you.
Love it.